Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we are going to repot a newer plant of mine, which has instantly become one of my favorites. It is the Philodendron luxurians, and it is so stunning. Its foliage, it's gorgeous. It has those velvety leaves that are thick and just bounces off with so much color and beauty. A difficult plant though to care for. It needs high humidity and needs its soil to be consistently a little bit moist. So we are going to finally repot it because I have had it acclimating to my environment here in Denver in my apartment for the last 2 weeks, and so it's ready to be repotted, and it needs to be repotted because right now it is inside the pot that I got it in, which is not the kind of pot that it needs. So this is a crawling philodendron. Most philodendron are climbers, so they climb up trees in the wild, and this one, being a crawler, crawls along the forest floor, the jungle floor. So its rhizomes grow horizontally, whereas its stems grow vertically like this, which pop out these beautiful leaves. But it needs something to crawl along the floor, basically. So a regular pot just won't do it justice because it doesn't have enough room. So that's why we're going to use a vertical pot. I usually like to get these in terracotta form because they're more well draining. But since this plant needs more moisture than most philodendron. What I did was I got a self-watering pot, and these are pretty cheap. I got this on Amazon for like I think $20 or something. And so it has an outer layer in here, and then this inner layer, which is where you would fill it up with the soil. And then it has this wick in here, which tells you how much water it has. And so basically, it'll be good if I have to go away for a couple of days, because then I can just fill this up with water, and it makes it so you don't have to water the plant as much. So a really helpful tool in this situation. And plus, it'll be perfect because it grows this way, which is the direction that this beautiful Philodendron luxurians wants to go in. So we are going to start by taking some soil. And since this plant, like most philodendron, likes a good, airy, well-draining soil mix, we have here perlite, cocoa coir, orchid bark, some activated charcoal, and some worm castings, which are always good for the plant's growth. So I'm going to put like a nice little firm layer down in here, just so we have a little basis. And I love crawling philodendron. I really didn't start getting into them until this past year, maybe even over the last 6 months. And they've become some of my favorite plants. In fact, I've told you guys about my philodendron gloriosum so many times, and that is hands down one of my favorite plants. That is a crawler, and it's so easy to care for. It really doesn't need a whole lot, and it is just gorgeous. And it keeps on popping out big leaf after big leaf. But like other crawling philodendron, eventually it is about to hit its side of the pot, and so it's going to have to be repotted soon, or I'm going to propagate it into some other um, gloriosums. I also have a philodendron D. McDowell, which is growing its first leaf right now. That's another crawler. And then my Philodendron palmenii, that thing is growing like crazy, and that has beautiful leaves as well. Another kind of easier to care for crawler plant with beautiful silver vining along its leaves that go beautiful with that green. All right, so now that we have our firm layer down, we are now going to take this baby out. And it's been so difficult because usually with like philodendron or other plants, what I'll do is I'll wait for like their soil to dry before I repot them. But since this plant needs consistent moisture in order to thrive, I've just kind of gently been misting its soil layer here with enough to kind of keep it going. Yeah, and you can see this thing's starting to go down like this. What happens is if you do grow them in regular pots, you will find that they'll basically just start shooting out little leaves or just stop growing altogether. But this thing has such beautiful leaves that we want to see them grow larger. Yeah, I never really got too big into those crawling philodendron, like I was saying, until gosh, the last 6 months, 8 months or so. But what's beautiful about them is that they have such ornamental leaves that are just so stunning, that they're really like showstoppers and really great to have inside your home. All right, so I'm going to try to. This has beautiful, beautiful structure of roots, very healthy. So I'm going to try to like not disturb the roots too much here, but I want to make it so they can kind of breathe and we can kind of adapt it so it goes around. What I'm thinking we might have to do is put this in some water because there is a lot of moss around the sides. Yeah, we're going to do that. Figured I showed you guys what I'm doing right now. Normally, I would try to just kind of pot the plant up in most of the soil that it's already in because I don't like disrupting the roots. And if the plant is used to that soil, it's just so much easier. But the problem is that these philodendron, they like a airier mix, and what this was potted in was anything but that. But it has super healthy roots. But the problem is trying to get all of this stuff apart. So what I do in a situation like this is I'll fill up a bowl with water, and I will put the bottom part of the plant with its roots inside there in the potting medium that it's in, and I'll just gently and slowly start trying to remove it because as the water soaks into it, it just becomes easier to remove. However, this moss that it's in is really dense and packed tightly in there. I have noticed that there are big chunks of perlite too, which as soon as I move those out of the way, it becomes so much easier to kind of break apart that moss. And yeah, so what I really don't want to do is I don't want to put this in here with a ton of the medium that it came in because then if let's say 90% of the pot is full of the chunky aeroid breathable mix that I put over there, then this 10% is going to retain water a lot more, and so you don't really know if you're overwatering the plant or underwatering it. So I want to get it into like a healthy balance. I will say, normally I really enjoy repotting plants. I find it very calming and relaxing, but this is hands down perhaps the most stressful and anxiety inducing repotting ever. Um, and that just has to do with the fact that it's tough because normally a plant's rhizome is, vertical and this one's horizontal. So I'm trying to hold this part of it up without that snapping. And you can see there's a new growth point on there. And so I don't want to disturb any of that. But I'm also trying to get apart this medium. So I was not expecting this kind of anxiety on a Saturday, nonetheless. But I'm just glad that I'm finally able to repot this plant because it's such a beauty. And they can be challenging and difficult to care for. But I also have other plants that are like this that are doing really well. And so I'm up for the challenge. And I think it'll do well in my environment. I keep the humidity, as I told you guys in the past, pretty high in here, about 65, 70%, which will seem really high to the average home, but at the same time, the temperature in here is really cool. It's at 65 degrees Fahrenheit. And I also have dozens of little mini fans all over my loft, and that creates really great air circulation. So while the humidity is high, it actually feels really cool and comfortable in here. It's weird living in Denver and I go outside and it's so dry. And then I come back in here and I'm like, ah. But yeah, this is the process and this is where I'm at right now. So let's fast forward a bit to the actual potting. All right, my anxiety level has gone from a solid 10 to now a 9.5. That was stressful, and I love repotting plants, and I didn't even get most of the medium. Well, I got most of it away, I guess, but there's still some good chunk of the medium in there. But I'm going to let that just kind of be as is because the roots are really healthy. I don't want to disrupt it any more than I have because I mean the plant's going to go into shock anyways once I've repotted it. I mean I'm in shock right now, and so if I'm in shock, then this thing's going to go into shock as well. Um, but I figure since I was able to kind of get a lot of the bigger roots unstuck from the medium that it was in, they'll be able to just kind of crawl graciously and grow through the new potting medium. And so we'll let this, whatever is left of this stuff, kind of just do its own thing. What was nice is that I didn't disrupt any of the roots. I didn't really break any off when I was just emptying out the stuff that it was in. Dump this in the sink. Yeah. There we go. I really like the perlite that they used in this, though. It's really chunky, kind of like the one that I'm going to use now. So now that we have that done, we are now going to pot up our plant. And so what we're going to do is, now that we have this nice layer right here of our soil mix, we are going to then take this baby very gently. And I'm going to use some rooting hormone on it just to be safe. And I did want to, where did I put that spray bottle? There it is. Okay. I wanted to take the spray bottle and gently moisten a little bit of the layer, the bottom layer here, just so, because those roots are wet and everything, and I want them to be kind of going into something that feels similar to them. So I usually will do this. And then I will take some of the rooting hormone just to play it safe. And that's an upstate New York thing, by the way, where we don't really say, where we overpronounce our A's and don't pronounce like D's or T's. So it sounds like how it would be said, and. It sounds like and mountains and winter. But here we go. Enough of that. I'm going to start putting some of this on here. Now, I've talked to you guys about rooting hormone powder before. This helps with a transfer of a plant, especially if you've just taken like a new cutting that you have been water propagating and it has new roots. I find that it really does make a difference when you're going to pot up the plant. It's rooting hormone, so it kind of like gives the roots some extra oomph, basically. And so I'm going to dip it in there, whatever fell into here. I've actually, and I've said this in past videos too, what's interesting is that I find that when I don't use it, my plants don't transfer as well, or they struggle with their growth. Ugh, now it's like all clay-like on my hands. I'll just wash those off quickly. But I'm really excited for this plant, though. From what I have read, is that it is called the diva of philodendron, and that most people who start growing it regret it because of its care needs. I, however, am up for a challenge because I felt the same way when I got my Philodendron verrucosum, and that thing was a struggle bus. And now I have it thriving, and I don't even need to keep it in a glass container like I was doing because it needed such high humidity. But I have gotten it to the point and acclimated it where it is now good in my environment. And it's actually just grew a new leaf and has another one popping out. So what we're going to do is we are now going to take our plant, and since it is a crawling philodendron and we want it to crawl horizontally over here, we're going to make sure that we want to kind of plant it towards the back. That way it has plenty of room to crawl forward and we can utilize that space. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this and put it here in the corner. And now we're just going to fill in the areas around it, just like we would do with any other plant. So what's really cool about this one is, I mean, just the beauty of its leaves are my favorite part. And this plant hails from the Chaco region of Colombia, where so many other philodendron and beautiful exotic tropical plants like them in the Araceae family come from, as well as plants like other monsteras in the Araceae family. Araceae is the family name of these plants. So Philodendron, Monstera, Scindapsus, let's see, Anthurium, they would all fall under the family of Araceae. And then their genus, this of course would be Philodendron. And then the species name would be luxurians. So P. luxurians. And they like high humidity. And that's what they thrive in. And they're so beautiful, but I really like the fact that they are a difficult plant to care for, because I find that I do well with difficult plants. Because I'll study every little aspect of them because I want to know every little thing about them. But for some reason, I struggle with like the easy plants, like a money tree, a rubber plant. I could not keep those alive for the life of me. I struggled so much. That poor money tree that I had when I first got into plants a couple of years back. That thing, let it rest in peace, basically. Okay, so you see me shaking the pot as I continue to fill up the area, and that's because I want to make sure that the potting medium that I'm using is getting inside the um, bottom parts of the plant, where I have kind of like gotten out that mix that it was in, the mix of moss and perlite. And so I'm just trying to make sure that every little area gets filled up and that the plant is tucked in there nicely. It's going to love this pot. And so even though it's the plant itself right now, as it stands in its juvenile form, I mean, its roots and everything only go up to here, although there was a couple long ones that I was able to stretch this way. So all of this area right here is just empty. But what's going to happen, like with the other crawling philodendron that I have, is that as it grows, everything will start pushing this way, and that'll be nice. I'm excited and hopeful that this plant bounces back from this repotting, because I'm sure that that was quite the shock to the system for it. But that's why, like, when you get a new plant, and what I did with this one was that you allow it to acclimate to your home and to your environment first before you repot it. And that's so crucial for the plant's growth and well-being, because the last thing you want to do, unless the plant when you first get it is in a poor like potting medium, like let's say it's really overwatered, then you'd want to repot it immediately. But if it's in some good potting mix, then just let it be and let it acclimate to your home first, because that'll make such a big difference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit more soil, because I want to make sure that this plant is lifted up and not leaning like that. Fortunately, I have some right around here. Okay. It's always good to kind of just have like bags, or if you have a lot of plants, it's always good to have like extra potting medium on you. So I make sure to like have like bags of it, or I'll have like plastic containers filled with it, just so I have the mix already set together and I don't really have to worry about putting together like a new batch. There we go. Cool. Yeah, it's a beauty. And with that, we have our Philodendron luxurians now repotted into a proper pot for its size and what it needs. And so, yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on whether or not this thing does turn into even more of a diva and dies off, or whether or not I get it to thrive. Fingers crossed. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.